Okay, so we will be pinning up the prototype from Poppy Playtime up against the Jurassic franchise. Okay, so there are a few rules. For one thing, we aren't bringing any comics, shows, or anything else to this whole matchup. It will just be the dinosaurs from the movies. But we can use scaling from the shows that had those said movie monsters. But monsters that came from, like, Camp Cretaceous will not be included here. And as for the prototype, we will only be using his form from Chapter 5 since, well, everything else is just plain useless. Like, why would you pin an arm up against, like, a T-Rex? Like, sure, it's a strong arm, but still, we want the big thing. But anyways, let's get into the prototype scaling and then the Jurassics and see who would win overall. Now, starting with the Jurassic franchise, and it is very powerful for a dinosaur verse. In short, yeah, any real life dinosaur that enters this verse will basically get yeeted to space. But anyways, it has its wall level feats, its small building level feats, but let's get into the more bigger stuff. For instance, Rexy was able to take down 2 Carnotauruses with ease. And you're probably asking, well, how is that impressive? Well, it has to do with one thing, and that is Toro from Camp Cretaceous. Now, Toro should be relative to these Carnotauruses because, well, look at him. There's nothing that special about him. But anyways, Toro had survived an explosion so powerful that it has been calculated to small building all the way to building level, which is very impressive. And to keep consistent with the small building to building level scaling, we got Buck and the Spinosaurus, which had both done impressive feats when it comes to AP, like Buck destroying a bus and the Spinosaurus destroying a gate, which has been calculated to wall to small building all the way to building level, maybe even building plus. But anyways, our more impressive people are gonna be the Indominus Rex and the D-Rex and the Mosasaurus. Now, starting with the D-Rex, he is very powerful on his island, and he should be above most of everybody else except for the Indominus and Mosasaurus, because he has been like the apex predator of the island, which is the most dangerous island that we know of, which would put him above against, everything else. But anyways, getting that out of the way, he should obviously be in the large building level ranges. And now, with him out of the way, let's get into the Indominus Rex. And she gets very powerful as well, with her breaking the atrium, breaking the bulletproof glass of the gyrosphere, surviving bullets, and several other things. And her best feat is surviving the Mosasaurus' whole bite, which can get from large building to even city block levels. So yeah, this verse is no joke. And as for the prototype, his scaling is very simple. So he is basically like the Gojo of the Poppy Playtime verse. He is literally the strongest. He one-shots everybody. So first off, let's get into everybody's scaling. He should have a bunch of wall level scaling from scaling above like everybody else who has wall level stuff. He can also get small building level. People think that's where they stop at, but that's not true. Because there's one good feat where he survived 24 explosive barrels, which people have calculated to be large building level. And since he has stuff from the other toys, they should also be large building level, and he is able to one-shot them, being able to do this, and doing the fact that these parts no-selled it, we can argue that the prototype is multi-city block level, But I don't believe that. I believe that he's just city block because of the simple fact that this is just him overpowering their piercing durability and not their blunt durability. Like, he is basically built for piercing and not blunt, which these creatures could definitely survive. We don't know if they can't survive, like things such as piercing, but it's highly unlikely that they can withstand it since, surgery and all that stuff. So yeah, the prototype is no joke. Now that you guys know about these people scaling, you should know why the prototype absolutely decimates the Jurassic franchise. Like, he is large building while they are just building. In fact, if you want to argue that the dinosaurs get to large building, I could just argue that he gets the city block. So, yeah, the prototype solos very easily. And don't bring up size, because if you want to bring that up, I could just bring up the fact that the prototype is likely 25 feet tall, which is very tall and very easy to overpower people. So, yeah, prototype, no diffs.